Justin will be here at 4:20 to talk about meditation and how he's managing through this. And he is someone that I'm very close with, and he taught the meditation for our meditation box, and he is really sort of a contrarian meditation teacher, which is why I adore him so much, and his meditations are fabulous, and he's just a beautiful all-around human being. So I'm really excited to introduce you to him. Yes, Rosie, this is my yard. So right now I'm about to make some iced tea, and I was just going to show you guys how I do it. It's not fancy. I'm just going to let you know. Other than my kimonos, things aren't too fancy. So I use mason jars, and I have a whole bunch of them in a whole bunch of sizes. I use them for storage, I use them for drinking, and then I use the tall mason jar to steep my iced tea. So today I'm steeping Goddess Green, surprise, surprise, my favorite iced tea. And so you can see my old funky tea strainer from my house. You can't keep these things clean with how much tea we drink. And so basically what I'm going to do is I've been steeping it for about 5 minutes in about 160 degrees. And then I'm just going to take the strainer, and I'm probably going to spill all over my leg. And there you go. That's it. That's really all it takes. So if any of you guys are wondering how to have iced tea, you basically steep it really strong. Oh yeah. Oh, Seraphine, the Soulmate iced tea, what I do with it is I put coconut sugar in it while it's warm, and then I pour it over ice, and it's amazing. It tastes like liquid chocolate. So yeah, so this is, hi Lisa. So this is Goddess Green, really strong on ice. I didn't sleep all that much last night, so I wanted to be awake for you all this afternoon. So before we start, I'd like to just center us into our bodies and into our breath. And if you have a cup of tea with you, bring it to your heart. Breathe in into your heart, through your heart, and into your cup of tea. Breathe out. Let's do that 2 more times. And with this, I open the tea circle. What a glorious day it is for all of us to be together as sisters. I don't know if we have any guys here, but Justin will call himself a sister, just like the best of them. So cheers to another week of quarantine and another week of a lot going on in the world. Maybe you guys have had some worries. Maybe strange things have been happening in your neighborhood. Maybe love is blooming. Maybe love is fading. So I'd love to hear from you in the chat about what's going on for you. And I pulled us a card from Alana Fairchild's Rumi deck. I was meditating on all of you. Oh my God, that is so good. Okay, so I wanted to start with a, I pulled 2 cards, and I'm going to read the card that I pulled first, which was part of the reason why I wanted to do this in my garden today. Enter the Garden of Delights. And once again, this is from Alana Fairchild's Rumi Oracle. I bought these for my husband for Christmas, so I decided to borrow them for us today. So, how are you all doing? Isn't it, Tiffany, we have so many birds. You just live down the street, you'll have to come visit. The birds are my constant song in this yard. My writing studio and my teepee are down below. I'll show you guys in a little bit. Hi, Cindy. Good, I'm glad you're doing well. Okay. Enter the Garden of Delights. This is for you. Are you aware that sweetness is found everywhere in town? Are you aware that winter is gone and spring has come around? Are you aware that sweet basil and the carnation are whispering in the garden and laughing about how simply everything is found? Excuse me. Come here, Mia.
Do you know where my overnight night bag is?
I don't know. Say hi to the tea circle.
Hey.
This is my daughter, Mia. What is your favorite tea?
Bohemian breakfast, obviously.
And what did you drink just now?
I forgot the name. It
Goddess
was like,
green.
it was Goddess Green. Yeah.
Iced tea. Did you like it?
I love it. It was like sort of sweet, but not really.
Got it. Okay, I love you.
It's like
I don't know where it is.
drinking the water of the fountain of youth.
Drinking the water of the fountain of youth. I don't pay her, trust me, for that. Okay, so I will begin again. Enter the Garden of Delights, the card I pulled for you today. Are you aware that sweetness is found everywhere in town? Are you aware that winter is gone and spring has come around? Are you aware that sweet basil and the carnation are whispering in the garden and laughing about how simply everything is found? Are you aware the nightingale has come back from its flight, singing out messages of love to spread delight with every sound? Everything in the garden is granted the right from the divine court to appear for our delight. Everything is here to make the earth green and alive as a haven for our life. What remains buried in the soil will always endeavor to reach out. No one truly alive can ever be pawned to a prison or a tomb. Interesting ending. Rumi wrote that. There is a sweet spot when entering the Garden of Delights, a moment where the senses have gorged themselves upon beauty and become heavy with their fullness, slowing the mind so that it can perceive the divine beloved dancing behind the veils of nature. But first comes the sensual feasting. Blooming orchids arrest the gaze with their startling and strange beauty. Nectar from the ripest fruits of the garden drips, luscious and sweet, upon a savoring tongue. Hungry for gossip, the ears shamelessly eavesdrop upon the birds in melodic conversation. They sing of greatest, most passionate love and boundless living joy. The ears open wide to take it all in. The craving for touch is sated by rough textured bark falling from the ancient trees, soft dewy grasses cool in the shade, the crunching leaves making their sounds under the hot sun and dancing feet, and the caress of that sunlight upon bare shoulders, with weight of its own, like a silken wrap placed just so by a caring lover's hand. It's gonna make me cry. The breeze, the very breath of the beloved Earth Mother, is sweet with scent of lavender and jasmine warmed by the Sun Father. And my yard is full of jasmine and lavender. Oh, drink it in until your arms raise themselves to heaven. Your head tilts, eyes rolling back in your head, and your sacred animal body is mindless and in love. The garden of delights, narcotic in effect, lulling the senses from tension into sacred languor, that love may be experienced. Let us rest here in the midst of so much life, where the goodness of life is felt and the heart is free from any prison of pain or doubt. Come, be in the garden with me now. Let us be free and feast to our heart's content. Beautiful. Hi, Karen. I'm sending you a hug right now. Very beautiful. So here's the sacred ritual of this card. Enter the Garden of Delights. Say aloud, I accept the gift of golden grace and healing now. I accept the gift of golden grace and healing now. To leave behind all prisons and tombs, to leave behind all prisons and tombs, conscious and unconscious, of heart and of mind, I open up to life and assistance through unconditional love. I open up to life and assistance through unconditional love. In being present to the miraculous beauty that seeks to live through me. In being present to the miraculous beauty that seeks to live through me, as you, and in benefit to all humanity now. I know myself to be worthy of this grace, to be this grace, so be it. I know myself to be worthy of this grace, to be this grace, so be it. Place your hands gently on your heart and rest for however long feels good. When you are finished, you have completed your ritual. I love her work. It always brings me such deep sense of belonging and calm. Okay, so that was our opening. You're welcome. Oh, beautiful, Diane. The stimulus check unexpectedly dropped into her account when her car repair place was open. And now you have reliable car again. The angels do have everything to do with everything because you're an angel too, Diane. You create such beauty in the world. Yes. So, what blessings have come to you over the last week? What insights have come to you? What living miracles have occurred for you over the last couple, after the last, or in the last week? Anne's drinking mantra mint, loving this escape from civid life, COVID life. Yeah. I'll just walk you guys around my garden all day. How's that? So, how has it been for you in spring arriving? Like yesterday was May Day or Beltane, and really it's the fertility festivals of yore, and all of a sudden you know, it's fertility. Everything is alive. Look at this beautiful national forest land back there, and other than going outside for a hike, you can't really do much. And if you live in a city, it's even harder to get out. So tell me how it's been for you and what's been going on for you and how I can serve you. And then Justin's going to pop in with his incredibly high energy and be our guide and mentor, even though he's really young. But this week for me has been on Wednesday, I had a huge thing happen in my heart. And it was unbearable, almost like my heart had been closed for so long. I couldn't remember how it felt for it to be open until it started opening. And I don't know what was happening with the planets. I don't know what's happening in the world, but with me, evolutionarily, it opened my heart and it made me wonder if I was doing all I could to love, and if I was doing all I could in my relationship, and even if my relationship was right for me. And after 16 years, it's strange to question that. But what happened was, as my heart broke open, I was actually right here, laying out here under the stars. And I thought that I had to make some big move or some big change, but I realized it was a level of armor that had been wrapped tidily around my heart. And so that's been opening the last few days, and I've been feeling life in a new way, as if my heart chakra finally came online and started working again. And so, have you had any noticings as spring has arisen? And Karen says she's been feeling down and decided to do something about it. Bought pizza for the staff in our local COVID unit. Oh, sweetheart, beautiful. Made up little care packages of goat milk soap and body butter for your mailman, UPS driver, and FedEx driver, and donated money to a local food bank and a local man who's providing meals to food insecure people in my community. It made me feel better to give when I have so much. Karen, so true. Last Sunday was the luckiest day of the year, and it's a day where you're to donate. And my daughter and I got a chance to donate to 3 different causes, and the Raptor Fund, they save birds, which are our favorite totems here, and KCRW, which is our favorite music and news channel, and the Food Bank of LA, and Help of Ojai. So it was 4. And it seems like it broke some sort of spell, self-pity spell. So giving what we need is always going to give us more than we need. Beautiful. Serafina, a friend introduced me to one of her friends, and we just clicked. We've Skyped each other every day since then and have talked about meeting in person once everything is over. It's weird to make new connections during this time. Yeah, but how cool. I had a Zoom today with one of our Tea Circle customers or clients for Magic Hour, and I was like, girl, you could be my friend. I loved her. Lisa, hi, sweetheart. In the desert, it is high summer and the temperatures are well over 100. I'm working on my heart too. I started to add Arjuna Vedic heart tonic to Rika's rose tea, and it's so delicious. What a great idea, Lisa. I'm going to do that too. And I just see a phone number, but she wrote, someone brought me lots of food. I shared it with my neighbors. I didn't know. Oh, you guys, you're so beautiful. Look at the goodness you're sharing on this planet. And was it as readily available to share this much goodness before now? I I always thought that I was sharing goodness, but I think I'm more mindful of how I'm sharing it now. It sounds like all of you are being very, very thoughtful and mindful over how you're sharing your love. And so, what else has happened this week that you would like to share? Do you have any questions, any insights? Lisa, I love your suggestion on the tea. Don't forget, as it starts to warm up and get hot, the tea that's cooling on the system is white tea. And next month, oh, this month, God, it's May. This month's box is the Harmonize Your Home box, and it has a beautiful yin shen silver needle from Yunnan, and I blended bergamot, organic essential oil of bergamot from Sicily into it. Some tangerine essential oil as well. Bergamot is pretty much a tangerine, but it has a different flavor profile. And then, of course, wild roses, because that's my favorite. So if you have white tea and it's hot outside, you can steep it and then put it on ice or even drink it warm, and it will cool the system and it will keep your skin looking incredible. It's great for collagen. Remember, white tea is for skin. It's beautiful and great for the skin. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Well, as Justin's about to come on, I'd love to hear any questions you guys may have about meditation. How many of you are actually meditating? Um, Tawana, I know. Oh, Tawana, did you get your other boxes? I hope. Oh, Beth, you already watched the feng shui video. Isn't she remarkable? She's going to be our guest in a week or two, I think. Tisha, yeah, she's an attorney who fell in love with feng shui and decided to start studying it. And she talks about how our home is a vision board of our lives. And so I love the idea of living in an interactive vision board, and she helps us declutter things. Um, Karen has been doing TM for almost a year now. I do TM too, Karen. Bob Roth of the David Lynch Foundation is a good friend of mine, and he taught all of us. And I find it very soothing. Lisa has become more mindful too, enjoying reading Sophia Segovia's Murmur of the Bees. Ooh, I have to get that. And the springtime essence in the air is lighting up the heaviness of winter. Oh, Lise, you practice metta. Of course you do, my love. You are metta. You're walking metta. And yes, Stanford has offered most of their meditation courses free, and my practice has skyrocketed. How do I join the magic circle? Oh, we'll let you know. Cindy, I've been meditating in the evenings and have been doing much better with keeping it consistent. Oh, good. Yeah, because we have more time now, right? I meditate in the mornings and not as often in the evenings, but the evenings I've been just making tea and sitting outside and being in nature and just zoning out and daydreaming, which is so healthy for us. Oh my goodness. And there is our guest, my darling.
Zhena!
Hello,
Oh
Justin.
my gosh, I'm so happy to see
You.
you.
So
Oh,
good to see you. We were just talking about meditation and what all the girls are doing for their meditations, and how this time has given us more of a chance to meditate more.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, Justin, why don't you introduce yourself to the gang? And this is our Saturday Sips. We started doing it once quarantine started. Yay. And because I missed everybody in person, but it's become a little bit more global now that it's not just in the tea studio. And
Yeah.
so let's talk about you and tell them a little bit about you and how you came to your spiritual journey.
Well, hey everybody. I'm like energetically just like sending love to this list of names, the Christine and Diana and Chris and Liz and Sharon and Susan. It's just like it's amazing how much community we can feel ourselves in over Zoom, and how we don't have to feel alone. So hi everyone. Even if I didn't say your name, I'm like energy sending to the whole list. And I'm just really grateful to be here. You know, I'm sure every single person here am on the path, you know, to being the best version of myself that I could be so that I can serve the planet in the best possible way that I can and use the gifts and talents and skills that I have to help serve the world, you know, which is what we need now. Always we've needed, and we really need it now. And, you know, I work at the intersection of music and mindfulness and social justice. And I put a book out earlier this year that's doing really well, which I'm really grateful for. And it came out at such a perfect time. It's called Stay Woke, a meditation guide for the rest of us. And I was on my tour, actually. I had done the first 3 stops of my tour. And what we did for my tour was, my next stop was supposed to be at Magic Hour with
I
Zhena.
know,
Actually,
and we had to cancel. I'm
that was
so
my
sorry.
that was my first COVID cancellation, was at Magic Hour. And,
Well,
and then
we will have it.
and then it cycled, you know, postponing, rain check, not canceled. And you know, we kind of flipped the traditional tour model on its head a little bit. And so instead of going to like indie bookstores in affluent neighborhoods, we decided to go to high schools and colleges and community centers in some of the most impacted cities in the United States. So we went to the Bay Area, in a town right outside of Oakland. We were going to Flint, Michigan, Chicago, Atlanta. I had just left Atlanta and New York, and teaching kids and the youth how to meditate in a way that's like fun and impactful and involves music. And then COVID happened. And so now I'm in 3 weeks, I'm doing my first virtual assembly with a high school, San Bernardino High School, where they're having their entire student body at one time on an assembly learning, which I'm very excited about, and just pivoting because this is our new world and we can't wait, right? Yeah. For something to happen. It's how do we show up now? So I took a little break because I, with you, was ready for a little tea time, a little breather. And then now seeing, you know, what's next. So I'm really just excited to be here and happy to talk and answer questions and chat and whatever else comes. And I have my guitar if we want music, and
yes,
the whole world's ready.
All of it. So Justin, the purpose of Magic Hour, as you may know, as one of my partners in crime, is to connect the world through tea ceremony. And so earlier today, a woman, I did a training with her on, she bought the host your own tea circle kit. And I got on Zoom with her, and she said, I said, what are you using it for? She said, my 18-year-old daughter and my 23-year-old niece, they really need something to help with their confidence, and they really need something that is more spiritual so it can help them. And what I found in that moment was the realization of a dream, that here's this mom, you know, in Virginia, who is going to be hosting a tea circle with her daughter and her niece to help them boost their confidence. And I just instantly, I said, you've got to watch Justin Michael Williams' meditation video on our portal, because I couldn't think of anything that was would increase his confidence more than to be in the space of the heart.
Yeah.
And you teach a meditation, you know, it's a heart activation meditation. And I was just telling the crew earlier, the circle, that on Wednesday I had a huge heart opening, like a really incredible, like almost like, and it's been happening ever since, almost like my heart just started to open, and now it's just this big raw open, like
cracked open like a coconut.
It did. And now I'm just like, I've been like really having to be tender about everything, and really just, and so are you noticing with the space of COVID, you know, it's in the chest, it's in the lungs, it's in, you know, have you noticed that there is a heart opening happening? I'm noticing people are so much more generous and gentle and kind and graceful.
I'm finding the same thing. And Zhena, I have to say, what we created with the Gypsy Rose tea together a year ago, which is unbelievable to think, it is just, and I'm drinking it right now, by the way.
Oh, so you drink caffeine now?
Yeah, well, no, today, because it's a special day. So, but I made it I softened it for myself and made it a Gypsy Rose tea latte with a little oat milk and cinnamon in it. But, you know, what we created, the video that we created was and the teaching is so important and is so vital for this time. And I just am so grateful that you have this entire library of teachers and healers who've created a resource for people to go inside.
Well, and Chris, I want, if Chris is on here, she can email out Justin's video if you don't have it yet. Jessica's saying Gypsy Rose Tea is my favorite.
Me too.
Yeah, it's my first love. So what I am wondering about is if you can talk a little bit about, I mean, are you single?
Yes, girl, so single. I'm quarantined. I have been 50 since March 13th. I had to stop counting because it was getting a little weird. Like 50 something days now, completely quarantined alone. I've been totally very strict about it for my health and for everyone's. And it is, whew, it's so interesting what comes up in this space.
Yeah, what have you covered? You look
Which,
really good.
Well, thank you. I've rested a lot and cooked all my own meals. I haven't eaten out at all since March 13th, and so I'll tell you a couple things. So the first thing that you had mentioned about people being more sensitive and more tender with one another. Yeah. Even though we're having these socially distant moments, like I'm even noticing walking on the street, like just that humans do really well in crisis. We really do overall, you know, and like just watching people even from a distance, from yards apart, seeing you on the sidewalk. I'm here in LA where everyone's walking around, you know, and one person goes into the street and kind of, even if they don't nod at you, but like there's this acknowledgement happening of like, let's keep each other safe. And then there's that weird person who decides to jog right by you. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
But it's like, you know,
the narcissist, yeah.
But, you know, like even things where before, things that would have never flown, like being on a Zoom call for work and being on the other day with a woman who was on and her child is like having a complete meltdown in the other room. And everyone's just like, girl, I get it. Don't worry. Take it, puts it on mute. She goes, she comes back with the kid, like, you know, whereas like in the past, people would be so judgmental and none of this stuff would fly, you know, and people are just being, I find, kinder, you know, because we're all just trying to figure this shit out right now.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm also loving this. I'm also loving how across the social media universe, because everyone's at home, like we are, even the celebrities, like watching Pink and some of these people, like just dress it all the way down. What'd you say?
Who drinks our tea, by the way?
Yeah, oh my God, of course, because I love Pink and like she's total tribe and like dress it all the way down and just drop all the bullshit and like be more just real and open and that's what's happening, you know. So many more things, but I am single. Just tying that loop back.
Single on your own in quarantine. And so so this is where the practice hits the road, isn't it? Yeah, it's a really and so Justin, how have you been, as far as your practice goes, has anything shifted for you? So instead of being alone, you know, in your meditation in a group, you're now alone in your apartment by yourself doing the same meditation. Have you noticed that your subtle bodies or your intuition is just getting honed or sharper?
Yeah, so much. And you know what I think it is? I don't know that it's my practice. I think it's the space that my practice is being held in within me. Because like the body and the energy that I'm showing up to my practice with now, because I am rested, because my well-being, because I have slowed down in a way, I can't even tell you the last time.
You go fast.
Yeah, you know how fast I go. You know how fast I go.
You and I go very fast.
We both do, and that's why we work well like this, you know. And like, but I am like slow, and I'm running, and I don't know if any of you guys feel this, but my capacity is at half. Like I have half the capacity that I had before to get things done. I don't know if you guys feel that in the chat box, but like it's like the amount that I could get done before this, I can't. It's just not even possible, you know? And at first I was like, oh my God, you know, what do I need to
I
get
was
all
going to
this?
finish my novel. I had like, oh yeah, perfect, great. And then not happening.
Mm-mm. No. And you know what, but now I'm just like this is what I do, this is what I try to do every day, is I have like the 5 pillars of my life, which for me are, you know, career and work, relationships, my well-being, which well-being for me is spiritual, emotional, and physical, you know, financial, and then my creativity. And so what I do every single morning is I meditate, and then that day from that place, I allow before I check my phone, before I check my email, I create my to-do list based off of those 5 areas. So I pick one thing in each of the 5 areas that I'm committed to doing that day. One thing for my well-being, one thing for my creativity, even a little baby step counts.
I love that.
And I let it come from my practice in the morning instead of come from what the world's asking of me.
Yeah.
And some days I get 3 things done. Some days I get 5, but even 3 things that are checking your real box of what you need for your life is a big deal, you know?
Yeah. Well, and what you're saying about not checking your phone until after your practice, and we'll go into all the questions I see, but not checking your phone, like it's exogenous, and what Gay and Katie talk about is exogenous is when things come at you and you're responding continuously to that. And then what the Great Pause has brought us is androgynous, that which is arising from within us. And then from there we act. And so how different is the world from looking at, and somebody asked earlier, how do you counteract the let's see, how can we, Karen asked, how can we counteract the negativity of the protesters through our meditations? I don't think we have to do anything. I think being in our beingness and in our grace and in our generosity of spirit, I think that is counteracting it, because, you know, collectively these are very small groups.
Yeah.
And I just see them almost as an energy that's okay. There's that energy that's happening, and good. I mean, we live in America. People should be protesting, right? I mean, it's freedom of speech, whatever they want.
Whatever they want, yeah.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm really enjoying that. I have a state mandated rest period, which, you know, no one's been able to get me to do. So.
Yep. Yep. I get it. You know, I've been thinking a lot. I sent out a newsletter a couple of weeks ago that has just like given me this big feeling of grace within myself after I had come across this. And I was just thinking about and pondering and writing about it all day. And I sent it to everybody. And I was thinking about the story that, regardless of our religion or spiritual beliefs, I think pretty much everybody knows about the story of Noah's Ark, right? And this great flood, you know, that happened. And there are people standing off to the side, like saying the flood's not happening and ignoring that it's happening. And then there's people who choose to get on the boat. And as they're getting on the ark, getting to choose what stays and what gets left behind for the new dawn of society. And I really was like falling into, because these mystical teachings and stories, you know, like there's so many incredible concepts that we get to learn from. They're so beautiful. And that one was really hitting me from my childhood of like, wow, this is our Noah's Ark moment. Like the world is never going to be the same again. Yeah. And in our individual lives and in our collective lives as humanity, we're getting to decide right now what stays and what gets left behind.
Yeah.
You know, and it's such an empowering thing to feel and think, even because the reason I was thinking about it is so many people were saying, I can't wait until, or when we get back to normal, or I can't wait until this is over. And I was like, y'all, that's not really, there is no wait until we get back, you know, it's like, what are we going to do in this moment? And what are we going to leave behind that's no longer serving us? Especially because this is the big question I was asking people. I'm sure you guys can relate, is people were saying, can't wait to get back to. And when we really take a look, I was like, how much was that life working for you? You know, how all of it holistically, like some things I'm sure were working great, but like how much of that life do you really need to get back to?
Yeah.
You know?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's true. It's what, you know, for me, my husband used to travel like 60% of the time for his job. He's more effective working from home, and his whole company, he's blown their minds because he's not spending so much time flying around using up fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but he's able to concentrate and stay home and grounded and eat homemade meals and not crap food on the road. And they're all talking about, wow, we don't want to do trade shows again. We don't want to
Yeah.
do that sort of thing again. And I think it's exactly right. And normal, yeah, Karen, normal is what got us into this mess, right?
Totally.
Yeah. And so Justin, what would be a sweet little meditation or inquiry practice you could guide us through? I always like to give the circle, you know, an actionable, and you're just such a gem of actionable
Let me
insight.
feel what wants to come up today.
I'm gonna take my hair down for this.
Yes, come on, hair. Me
Get rid of that.
too.
I know. Look at that.
I'm
Wow.
pulling my tarot cards right now to see
Oh, good.
what
I
wants to
read
come
them from
through.
the Rumi deck earlier before you got on.
Okay, perfect. So this is what I'll offer to you guys today. There's so many gateways, right? There's so many gateways into our practice. And if you would just place your hands over your heart for a moment. Actually, before you do that, if you guys have your tea, take a sip of the tea first. Take a slow, eyes closed, conscious sip, tasting the tea. And as you let that go down your throat and maybe even swish through your mouth a little bit, just notice the lingering flavor that stays. And if you can even track the heat or the cold temperature going down your body, even using this tea as the gateway in. And then notice any feelings or sensations that arise in you as you draw your awareness and lean into even the sensation of the tea. And then I'll invite you to place one hand, your right hand over your heart, and then your left hand over your right. And take a deep, full breath in. And a deep breath out through the mouth. Just softening a little bit more. And again, a deep, full breath in. And a deep, full breath out. In this time, we have the sacred opportunity to build a deeper relationship with ourself with a capital S, with the highest S, self, that exists within each and every one of us, that all comes into the ocean, this quantum ocean of selfhood that we all come from, and these unique manifestations that we all live in these bodies, in this time, in this what we call crisis or transformation or wake up. And so what in your relationship with yourself are you waking up to right now? What in your relationship with yourself are you waking up to right now? And trust what arises. Is it tenderness, like Zhena mentioned? Is it slowing down? Is it your creativity? Is it love with your kids or your family? Is it even your connection to anger or fear and how you track it and move it through your body for the higher good? What are you waking up to in your relationship with yourself right now? And I'd like you right now to just see if you can put that in a sentence or a word for yourself that feels very practical, that you can remember. What am I waking up to in my relationship with myself right now? The highest self. And then I invite you to open your eyes when it feels easeful and soft for you, and maybe type that into the chat box so that we can see what we're all waking up to today. And what I'll offer you as you do that, and just try to keep the space tender and soft for yourself, is we have the answers that we need within us. And this time is such an incredible time to go within. And sometimes when we go within, we got to feel some scary shit every once in a while that we don't want to feel. But underneath that, underneath anger, healthy anger at the very least, underneath fear, underneath all of that is actually love.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say that, you know, we say, oh, it's all love, but it really is. Like, think about people who are angry about social justice movements and they're angry and they're protesting. I'll even say this, even the people who are angry and protesting about the stay-at-home orders, it actually comes from love.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds crazy. It comes from their perceived love of the life that they have and the freedom that they have and the choice that they have.
Totally.
And so can we connect there? And let's see, what are we seeing here, Zhena?
Rosie says peace, and Karen says I matter. You do. I wrote divine feminine because I feel like I'm getting softer. Integrity from Kat. Diane says alternatives to pain. Diane Lund says calmness. Edith Torres says I wake up to love myself more.
This is beautiful.
Lise is mystic. She's absolutely already mystic. Tawana says contentment. Serafina says I have power. Yeah. Natalie says I'm awakening to my beauty, heart, mind, and soul. Oh. Monica, trust in myself and others. Heather says light and dark together in love. Heather's out in Brooklyn, so they've been getting hit pretty hard out there. And so and Sharon Matthews says how I need to love and honor myself more. Yeah, Sharon, I've been on that. Very much the same. Cynthia, hi Angel. She says respect and compassion, living in harmony. And Lisa says I am enough. Amy says I'm waking up to my capacity for compassion. Cindy says a sense of awe again with the world.
Amazing.
Susan says joy. And Elizabeth Scott, hi Elizabeth, I wake up to rest within, peace is mine. Absolutely. I don't know if we were this awake even a month ago.
Mm-mm.
Anne says let go to survive the whitewater rapids, be a stick. Totally.
Totally.
Yeah. And so so I love who we are now. I love that the humor. My son and I were talking about just how many funny memes there are.
Oh my gosh, it's
Just, I
great.
mean, I collect them and I send them to our family text, and people just die laughing. Like, you know, that just how much humor and kindness on. It really has felt like the age of authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if you're going to be an angry person and you are an angry person, it's showing. You're out there yelling and fighting. If you are a loving person, which you are a loving person, it's showing. If you are, you know, funny and you see the best in things and you can create levity, that's showing. Like every, you know, true essence, our true essence is coming forth because we don't have as much distraction.
Right.
And I ran out of Netflix, so I have nothing else to watch. So Karen says, yeah, this is showing the best and the worst in us as humanity. It is. And I think the best is winning. It feels for sure like the best is winning. I had a crazy situation last week or the week before where I was, you know, we're running out of tea strainers, and I was calling my supplier in Taiwan and one in Beijing, and I was saying, you know, we need our tea strainers. Mother's Day is coming up. Oh my God, get me the tea strainers, you know. And I've known these women forever, since the last company, and then finally Rita actually said, well, Miss Zhena, they're so polite. All the planes that are coming back right now have face masks on them. So we have to wait for a plane that has room. And I was like, all right, get the Mother's Day gifts out. Like, okay, well, maybe people can accept the gifts without a strainer this time and we'll send it later. Like, whatever it is, I just thought, you know, it's like open my eyes. Like, I'm always so single-minded and wanting to get something done. But at the same time, it's like, oh, obviously the face masks are the most important thing we could get going. And here I am, you know, and it's been a continuous humbling, you know, meditation as well.
Yeah.
Perspective. Absolutely.
I've been surprised about You know, one of my friends asked me a couple weeks ago, like, what is the most beautiful thing that has awakened within you because of COVID? Like, what is something
Yeah.
positive that has happened because of this that would not have happened without this? And for me, it's been so cool. Like you know, I moved away from home when I was 18 to go to college at UCLA, and my whole family, everybody, aunts, uncles, grandparents, have went to the same high school for 3 generations. Everybody lives in that same city, and except for me. And so I'm always the, you know, I'm the uncle and the son and the brother who's like always gone, occasional FaceTiming. It's a big deal when I come home, like it's that kind of a
Yeah.
thing. And now with COVID, I've been FaceTiming with my 3-year-old niece every day,
Yeah.
every day.
Oh.
And I didn't even know how important, like I didn't even have the opportunity to know how important this would be to me, you
Oh.
know. And so to have that time, like I've never had regular time like this with my family, and so that's been just the most beautiful awakening. And you know, coming back to the things like when the work stops and the tour stops and all the things stop, like what's still there. And that's what kind of woke up for me. And so anyway, I just offer that question to you guys to just think about, like, what's something that's woken up for you just because of COVID, you know, not in spite of it.
Diane has been dealing with some skin cancer,
Mm.
and she's a beautiful landscape architect and dear friend. And she's saying dealing with expanding cancer pain, it focuses one and frustrates, trying to move past it. Some days better than others, have to wait until July for medical attention. Reminded of the old patience grasshopper.
Sending you
Yeah,
so much love, Diane.
sending you love, Diane. And white tea, lots of white tea and green tea as well. So, Justin, I don't know if you'd be open to it, but you know, Gay Hendricks, my mentor and business partner, has this little deck called Living Miracles, Essential Wisdom,
Yeah.
and I thought we could pull a card, and and we could have a quick little discussion about it and see what others think too.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'd love to sing you a song at the end before I sign off too.
Yes, let's do that. Okay, this is a great card, and then we'll go into your song. So, leaping, committing. We get what we are committed to getting out of life. The problem is that much of the time we are operating out of unconscious commitments rather than consciously chosen commitments. This is what you were saying. What can we leave behind as we get on this arc? We
Wow.
get what we are committed to getting out of life. The problem is that much of the time we are operating out of unconscious commitments rather than consciously chosen commitments.
That's amazing.
It's exactly what you were saying. Absolutely. So what unconscious commitments was running our lives, and now how can we be more conscious? What are we going to leave behind, and what are we going to take onto the ark?
You know, I think I was like, I'm recognizing that I was unconsciously committed to being busy.
Oh.
You feel me?
Oh yeah, I feel. Oh yeah, no, I've
And
never had that. No,
yeah,
busyness was my religion. It was myself, how I valued myself. It's how I gave worth to myself. I mean, without busy. I mean, the first week or two was a shit show for me of this,
yeah.
because I mean, and my staff was on furlough, or not furlough, but on unemployment because of the thing. And I was like, oh God, I have to pay them and still pack all these boxes. And then I realized, you know, my hands were cut, you know, from all the cardboard, and I was trying to pack everything. And one day I just started crying, and I looked over as I was crying, and I saw a box of gloves. I was like, oh, it's all a choice. But it was so interesting because then the rhythm came. You know, it's so much more fun to dance
Yeah.
in the opportunity of not being as busy than to be addicted to the busy.
Yeah,
You know,
I've really gotten to consciously commit, and it's a growing commitment. I've always been committed to it, but when you look at like the duality of these commitments together, of the unconscious commitment of being busy and the conscious commitment to have impact has been
yeah,
my conscious commitment. And now that the busyness has flown away, like that conscious commitment has gotten
uh-huh.
to really focus, you know? And I'm like, oh, wow, I haven't gone anywhere. And I think I've made more impact
Yeah.
in the last month
Yeah.
than before, you
'Cause there's
know?
no frenetic energy. There's no getting to here to there. So
Yeah.
Justin, sing us a song. Let's
Okay.
bless us with your beautiful voice.
I'll bless you out with the song. Okay, hold on. I'm going to unplug these headphones. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for being here, sweetheart.
Oh
I
my
love to
gosh.
see your
It's
face.
like, Zena, literally anything you need. That's how I feel. Zena,
I'm the same with you.
that's how I feel about Zena. I'm like, if Zena's asking, I was like, yes, of course. That's it. So I'm going to stand up.
Okay.
So,
Ooh, I love your ceiling.
isn't it fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is not my house. So do you want to hear how much COVID got me? So I, January 10th, moved out of my apartment that I've lived in for the last almost 5 years because I was planned to, I'm not going to say supposed to, because clearly not, I was planned to be on tour in US and Europe until July.
Oh.
You know, and so I was like, oh, I want to move anyway. So I'm going to move everything into storage and I'm going to have a gypsy rose style 6 months of the year. So I get off on the road and I go to the Bay Area and then I stay in this gorgeous place up north by the Redwoods and then go to Atlanta and stay in this amazing Airbnb, then go to New York and then coronavirus is like, time to go home. And I'm like, what home would you be speaking of, girl? Like, like, you mean that home I just moved out of?
So obviously you found a home.
Well, it actually really worked out. My friend Christy, who's like one of my best friends in the world, she's a traveling yoga teacher who had a tour in Asia and Europe coming up that got canceled. So this company in Houston hired her to go quarantine there. And they were like, we imagine you need work. Come to Houston. We'll pay for an apartment for you. We'll set you up with filming. And can you film a bunch of online content for us? And so then I'm now in her studio. So the universe always works out, right? It always works out.
I love it.
But I'll offer this song to you guys in closing. This song is called I Am Enough. And I know it was just beautiful when I saw Lisa say that as what was rising in her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that no matter how much we accomplish, how much we do, how busy we are or not, how much we practice, how much we meditate, how spiritual we are, how much money we get, we all always still have that child inside of us who just wants to know that we're enough.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw a quote recently that says, you've been every age. You are every age that you've been currently. And so that 12-year-old you and that 8-year-old you is still in there, you know, wanting love. And so what I invite you to do so we can use this song as a prayer instead of a performance is just, you're willing to place your hands over your heart and close your eyes for a moment and take a breath in. Anchoring into your heart. And just taking a moment to call forth your childhood self. At any age and anything that comes up for you, see if you can conjure up an image or a feeling, even if it's incomplete. And notice as you call up this childhood self, how old you might be, what you're wearing, what you're doing. Now we just hold that childhood self tight if we want to wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a little hug. And we just tell them, you are enough. I got you. I'm not giving up on you. Ever. You are enough. And so this song is called I Am Enough, and the chorus is I am enough, I am golden, baby, yeah, like the ceiling. So if you feel called to sing along or whisper along or feel it, I welcome that as a prayer for that child in each of us. Can you hear that, Zena? Little boy, don't cry. You've been in pain. enough. No, little girl, don't hide. You finally say enough. Oh, one day I'll look into your eyes, show you you don't need to hide behind disguise. No, spread your wings, you're terrified. Don't be afraid, you're born to fly. I'm by your side, yeah. I am enough. I am golden, baby. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Oh, I am golden, baby. I am enough. I am enough. Ooh, enough. I am enough. Oh, enough. I am enough. Oh, little girl, it's alright. You've taken the blame. Enough. Oh, little boy, don't hide. You've been ashamed. Enough. One day I'll look into your eyes, show you you don't need to hide behind disguise. No, spread your wings, you're terrified. Don't be afraid, you're born to fly. I'm by your side. Here we go. Say, I am enough. I am golden, baby. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Oh, I am golden, baby. I am enough. I am enough. Ooh, enough. I am enough. Ooh, enough. I am enough. Listen up. Say, I am enough. I am golden, baby. I am enough. I am enough. Okay, listen here. You are enough. You are golden, baby. You are enough. I want you to sing this for your childhood self. You are enough. Come on, go. Sing. You are enough. You are golden, baby. You are enough. You are enough. One more time. You are enough. You are golden, baby. You are enough. Last time. We're gonna go to we are enough. We are enough. We are golden, baby. We are enough. We are enough. We are enough. Oh, we are golden, baby. We are enough. We are enough. One more time. We are enough for all of us. We are golden, baby. We are enough for the whole world. We are enough. We are enough. Even the protesters. We are golden, baby. We are enough. Last time. We are enough.
Justin.
Feel that in your heart. And remember that no matter how you grew up, no matter how much money you have in your bank account, no matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter what you've been through, you are enough. You are worthy. You are enough. And you are golden, baby.
Oh, you get me every time. I love you.
I love you. I love you guys.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. And I can't wait to see you in person. Oh, thank you, Justin, for joining us and bringing your light to us. You are so gifted. Such a bright gemstone of potential and possibility and future and past and wisdom. And for such a young guy, you're like ancient. Oh, everybody's saying tears of I am
you guys
enough.
are so sweet.
Sounds
The song
exciting.
is on Spotify and all the things. If you just search my name, I'm Enough, you can listen as much as you want. And if anybody wants to see the work that we're doing with the kids in high school, if you just want to
Cool.
see to that or contribute to that,
Where is that?
you can go to staywokegiveback.org. I'm putting that in the chat box. It's staywokegiveback.org. We've the community is really joined
Absolutely.
in for us to go to reach as many kids as we can. So you can see them.
Absolutely. I'm going to be donating to that, my friend. Well, thank you, sweetheart, for all that you're doing to make our world a better place. And I'm glad I'm on your arc.
I love you.
I
We've been
love
on the same arc. We've been on the arc since before the flood started.
you. Bye, everybody. I love you guys. I'll see
Love
you
you
next
all. So good to
Saturday.
meet you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Bye. Bye, Angel.